That was unbelievable.
Yeah, I've seen some, but that was crazy.
I don't smoke, and I need a cigarette.
This is the Buffalo Plus Podcast.
All right, welcome back to the Buffalo Plus YouTube channel. Mike Catalana, Dan Fates. I am Jenna Cottrell. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share.
We deserve it.
The Bills, yeah.
You deserve it.
You deserve it. The Bills, unbelievable comeback. They beat the Ravens 41-40 on a last-second field goal by Matt Prater, the 41-year-old who was just signed by Buffalo.
By a youth football coach.
Yeah, on Thursday. Unbelievable game. Mike, I've not seen something like that.
You know, the closest thing, and Bills fans may remember this game, and it was a loss, of course, because all the crazy games for the Bills seem to have ended up in a loss. They played Tony Romo in this stadium on a Monday night. Romo threw 5 interceptions. 5. How they still won the game, I don't know. That was a domination in a different way. And then it came down to, I think, an onside kick, and the Cowboys won. And it was like, you're sitting there going, how could they win or lose this game, depending on how you looked at it? The difference here was that was an okay Bills team. This is the Ravens and the Bills. You are dominated by the Ravens the whole way, really until the last 3 minutes of the game, and you steal it from Baltimore.
I don't think anything sums it up better than the Bills punt with like 9 minutes to go, and it almost felt like they were waving the white flag. Now, Sean said that he thought there was time, and it was 4th and 15, and he didn't want to go for it if his defense got to stop. Fans were leaving. Maybe you were here. Maybe you left, and I wouldn't blame you. And maybe you were at home and you turned the TV off, and we wouldn't blame you.
No.
Because there was never a time in that game where I said the Bills are going to come back and win this game. Even when they got the ball back down. With under 2 minutes to go, I was like, it's going to be such a great comeback that just comes up short, and they're going to be kicking themselves about allowing 240 rushing yards and not getting a punt until the third quarter. And then Matt Prater, it's absurd. This was absurd.
This was one of those games where you like take a step back and you're like, they won. How badly, and we can get into, some of the things that the Bills obviously need to clean up now heading into week 2. But having a win like this, what does it do for this entire team? And how much, I know it sounds cliche, but how much could this galvanize kind of an effort for a team when it looked like it was out of their hands?
Well, the big thing is when coaches will stress to players, like, you're never out of it. Even a couple of the players were like, it was bad.
Do you know what I thought for sure? And I have the shot of 3rd down and 12, and Joey Bosa and Greg Rousseau have Lamar Jackson running backwards 20 yards, and then picks up the 1st down, and Bosa just puts his hands on his head afterwards, like, you got to be kidding me. The next play, Derrick Henry runs 40 yards to complete it, and you were like, it's just one of those days. It's just one of those days. It's an early, I was like sitting there thinking about the podcast, like, I'm not going to overreact. I won't do it. It's just one game. They'll get better as the season goes on. But I was just like, it's just one of those nights. They were the better team. The Ravens, I still believe, we're leaving this game. The Ravens are a better team.
Yeah.
They're a better roster.
If you're a Ravens fan, you are sick because the Chiefs do this to them and the Bills do this to them as well.
They'll never win in Buffalo ever.
It's unbelievable, though.
Now, Josh was a unicorn in this game. Like, he starts making plays, and then everybody believes because they say it. Like, 17's got the ball, we're going to win it. But the idea, I kept thinking, well, Josh can still score some points here. But I'm thinking to myself, how in the world are they stopping Baltimore?
That's what I kept thinking was, it's great that you keep scoring. It doesn't matter because you can't stop them.
And Oliver. Ed was big in this game.
He had a
was
hell of a
big
game.
early, and then he makes that play. And it's not just the fumble. It'd be great. It's Derrick Henry fumbles.
Yeah.
And they get the ball back. And I think at that point, and that's what a couple of the guys said, when they got that turnover, they're like, okay. But the funny thing was, they get the turnover, they score, and then they go for the 2, and they don't get it.
Yeah.
But then they get it back again. They get a 3 and out. Like, they actually got stops there late in the game. So, and then Josh did what Josh does. The receivers were good. They managed the clock, I thought, as best you can at the end, and then they bring Prater on to close it out.
That's just, I keep saying the word unbelievable, but Dan, you were down on the field for this game, And it felt like, I mean, the Ravens could just do whatever they wanted.
Yeah. And like I said, I wasn't going to be like at fault for the offense because I just thought they were under so much pressure to be perfect. And at times they were a little sluggish. At times, honestly, guys, it did feel a little disjointed offensively.
I thought the offense stunk for a lot of the game. Yeah.
And so I kept thinking, when is Josh going to put on the cape? And then he throws a pass to Khalil Shakir backhand. Like that kind of stuff where you're like, oh, he's going to smash all the buttons and he's going to give it all in week 1 to do it. And it was... I kept sitting there going, it's going to come up just short. Like I never thought. I saw next gen stats. They had a 1.1% chance of winning because even when they got the balls, like they were bad in short yardage. 2-point conversions were bad. Like things like it was, everything was a struggle offensively, but they made it work. And then they get the stop.
It's funny you say, Jenna. He says Dan's right. The offense struggled. Well, they made mistakes.
Dan is right.
Only because he's agreeing with what I'm saying. But the offense struggled, and the defense was 10 times worse. And they won the game against, I think, the best roster in the NFL.
I think that's fair.
And that roster that played dominant football against them for 3.5 quarters.
Yeah.
So if you're the Ravens, you're like, you gagged again at the end. Last time it was Lamar and Mark Andrews.
Yeah.
This time it's Derrick Henry because he was incredible, and then he coughs up the ball. But I give the Bills credit for this. Like once they felt like they were still a chance, and they were like, "Don't let us back in this game because 17's going to win it for us," and that's exactly what happened.
Sometimes the Bills like to play with their food.
This wasn't playing with any food.
I agree. Like, this was like, I just wrote them off. I was like, well, that's ridiculous. There's no way. And then just some of the plays, you're like, Keon's like with going out of bounds, or the one play earlier with Keon. Although I will say, Keon in the big moments stepped up.
If you're named, like the guys that to me were stars in this game, not named Josh Allen, we feel like we can say that every single week.
Right.
We talked about Ed.
Yeah.
Massive. He was dominant. And again, it's like, we know he's not the guy to eat up 2 blockers, to free somebody else up. He has to be the guy that gets the tackle for loss. He has to be that penetrating force in the middle, and he was. And then Keon. What a game. At times, I'm sitting there, again, I'm going, these are all garbage time stats. These don't really matter. And all of a sudden, you're like, second up, like, but he's gaining confidence. He drops the first one on a little screen pass. The crowd's kind of like, what's going on? That's when the game started to really get out of hand. But big play after big play after big play for Keon. And you could see it. When he caught that last pass to really set them up into chip shot range, he kind of comes off like flexing. Like he's flexing and James Cook's lifting him up. Like, dude, this is your game.
And it's a good thing he didn't score a touchdown.
Yes.
I'm not kidding.
Yeah.
Because,
well, yeah.
Because, I mean, the Ravens had their timeouts.
Yep.
If he scores, great for the Bills.
Yeah.
But not so great because then the Ravens have a chance to go down the other end of the field. No, I thought Keon was really, really good. And I asked Josh about him stepping up. And how did he do it? He just he stepped up.
Yeah.
And I think it was like, yeah, that's what they're asking for. And that's what the guy did in week number 1. You've said it before, Dan. He's not going to do it like a lot of other wide receivers. He's not going to run those pretty little routes and the slants over the middle and make the catch. He's going to go up over a guy. He's going to catch him on the sidelines. He's going to catch a deflected touchdown. That's what he's going to do.
That to me was Keon, though.
To me, that was Keon. And the play earlier in the second half when Josh rolled out broken play, you're like, this play's over. And he throws it over Khalil, and then it's a sliding catch by Keon along the sidelines.
You're talking about the one, is that the one before half when they kicked the field goal?
That may have been it.
Yeah.
That was a huge play. It was a third down. And
a
they ended up
broken
going
play.
down there and getting at least getting the field
That was
goal.
some foreshadowing.
Sorry. I was too excited.
That was some foreshadowing, though, to the craziness that was some
that
of this
was one of those
game.
things where we've said, you're right, Mike, he's not this, as of right now, this crisp route runner, this tactician that sets up cornerbacks.
Polished.
But you want to know what he does? Backyard plays, which Josh loves. He's being the guy that's there for him, and that was huge. I also thought Joey Bosa was everywhere.
I thought Joey Bosa had a nice game.
Yeah.
It's so sad that we're like pointing out 2 players on defense that was atrocious. But Ed Oliver and Joey Bosa, if it wasn't for them, they don't get a single punt, they don't get a single turnover, because I thought it was It was bad, guys. It was bad defense.
Joshua Palmer came up with a couple of nice plays, including a big one on the draft. And let's not forget about James Cook on that play that he made.
Yeah.
When Josh scrambled out, he got it, and then he's cutting across the field. And backyard football, they're both trying to still block for him. Keon's like calling him over, trying to figure out which guy to block. So I didn't want to forget about that play because sometimes it felt the whole game like they were down 2 touchdowns. And they would get one, and then it'd be like 3 plays, and the Ravens would score. No one would even touch Derrick Henry, and then the Bills would have to try to grind their way back into the game.
Yeah, before we go to the defense, too, I do want to just touch on Matt Prater and the job that he did. I mean, I think we were all pretty surprised when Tyler Bass got put on IR earlier on this week. Prater comes in. He said he got into Buffalo on Thursday morning at 7:30, had a practice with the team. He was coming from being like a peewee football coach, and now he's out here knocking through game-winning field goals.
It's funny you say with the team because we know the way kickers are.
Yeah.
They're not really with the
yes.
team. No, the reason I
Yeah.
say that is, so I asked Taron Johnson afterward about, he was like, he made the field goal, and I was like, do you know him? And he's like, well, here's what Taron had to say. You don't really know him, right? And he
No, I don't. He just got here. He just got here.
After the kick.
Great kick. You know what I'm saying? I congratulate him and everything. So I'm just happy he made it.
That was all throughout the locker room. Some of the guys thought that it was a coach coming back, that he was in a special teams meeting, and they're like, oh, it's Matt Prater. Like, yeah, he's older. I remember him. And you think about it, too. This put it really into perspective. Our good friend Matt Beauvais, KBW, asked Prater, you've been around the league for a long time. You've been a part of some wild games. Or have you ever been a part of a game this wild? And he goes, yeah, I was in Denver. We had Tebow. He was the kicker for the Tebow games.
That's
So,
crazy.
like the fact that like he's just like
You mean like when they beat the Steelers in the
when they beat-
playoffs on that
and
day?
all
Yeah.
those like when he was hitting like 63-yarders against Miami. Like that was so quintessential where we're all like sitting there in shock, even in the media room, and Prayer's like, I was part of Tebow Mania.
Everyone started laughing too. They're like, "Oh, so you've seen some stuff."
It was like touche. Yeah, that was pretty wild.
Yeah, Prater said he's still on cloud 9, which I would imagine because the job that he did in the situation that he was put in, he did a great job. He's 41 years old.
They lift him up on they pick him up on his shoulders. Josh afterwards, I tweeted out the clip of him just going in there and he's giving McDermott a hug, and Josh is just waiting like, hey, welcome to Buffalo. Like, just an awesome moment. Again, there's no cheering, like we cover the team, but like surreal, chill kind of moment where you're sitting here still trying to wrap your head around how this team came back and won that game.
So speaking of that, just the environment, just the atmosphere after the game, they play Mr. Brightside, everyone's celebrating. Mike, I know this is week 1. I know this was a playoff rematch. It truly did feel like a playoff game.
No question it did. And look, they responded in part that way. I don't think I've ever seen Josh celebrate that much after a game.
The only one I could think of was the Miami Week 18 game.
Yes,
Yeah.
and that's
That
when
was
they
the only-
won.
So
Yeah.
they were going to be the 2 seed. That was what they clinched.
Yeah, but he had done
was to
a
win the
post.
division.
He did a pregame interview for the network. He did a postgame, and then he took off and he's yelling towards the fans. He threw the ball. Like, it was pretty cool to see. They know what Dawson Knox was singing Brightside as he was running off.
Well, it was like surreal too because you're sitting there like, oh, you can't even play Mr. Brightside. They won 10 games here last year. Like,
Well,
that
when
was
were
nothing-
they going to play it? When
I'm
Derrick Henry
aware.
was running in the end
right,
zone?
right. So then all of a sudden, as the crowd is still going nuts, this song comes on, and you would have thought the place was still sold out because nobody that stayed was it was a concert.
Yeah.
And that was kind of a crazy moment that you have Knox and Kincaid taking laps around the field.
Yeah.
Just an unreal game.
It was cool. It was incredible. And this team is special, but we have to talk also about the defense because
it was terrible.
So how was the play, Mrs. Lincoln?
No, well that's
No.
No, but if they would have
no.
lost.
If they would have
it still doesn't
just
work.
never
Nope.
The defense was awful. No one covered Flowers. Derrick
Yeah.
Henry either shoved guys away like they were gnats, or he just ran in the end zone with no one touching him. Lamar was Lamar. It's not even about they did nothing against them defensively for the longest time. I know they saved it. They made a couple of plays, they made the turnover, and they got it, and Josh Allen won the game. Obviously, it's simple to say the defense needs to be better. It needs to be much, much better.
Yeah.
But you're not going to play these two guys
Absolutely.
really more than just the two every week. That being said, you're going to play some pretty good backs and some pretty good players.
Yeah.
The run defense was horrendous. I know it's going to change a lot. The defense is going to change when guys come back. I thought Dorian Strong held up pretty well. But Cole Bishop had a rough night.
Was Josh Norman number 24 when Derrick Henry stiff-armed him into the...
Somebody's going to already gonna comment on that. I don't remember if it was 24.
Crust?
The difference was...
Not the Earth's crust.
Yo, hang on. He dribbled Cole Bishop like a basketball.
God.
It was so disrespectful.
But Derrick Henry...
As soon as that toss happened, I went, this doesn't seem good.
Well, it was funny because Taron Johnson was talking about...
Well, yeah, because they won.
Taron Johnson was talking about, he was on the sidelines when Derrick Henry fumbled.
Yeah.
Because I think Dorian had come out there. And he was like, yeah, I see Derrick Henry coming around the edge. And then he tells the story. And I said to him, I go, well, it's usually not a good thing to see Derrick Henry coming around the edge. Like, it was... I wouldn't say comical. When I mean comical, like, it's so bad it's funny. But some of his runs tonight, and I know, yes, he shoved Cole Bishop to the ground. He rolled by everybody. He's incredibly big and fast. He does all those things. But at the end of the game, they made a play on him that was the difference.
Yeah.
That being said, we've already talked about the comeback and everything else. The defense, the run defense was terrible. Yeah. And once they got in the secondary, nobody was making a play. Yeah. So these are things that obviously have to get better starting next week when they go to the Jets.
How severe of a problem do you think the Bills have at safety?
I think it's pretty concerning. Again, if you need your safeties to come up and make plays, because I'm watching that game and I go, Kyle Hamilton is really good at football. Okay, I'm not saying you need Kyle Hamilton, but I thought both safeties looked shaky today. And again, I'm understanding, like, the defensive line and all that stuff. The Ravens were by far the more physical team. And I'm on the field pregame, and Bobby Babich is screaming as the team is stretching, I need you guys to be bleeping physical. And they weren't. They were getting pushed around both sides of the line. Like I said, Spencer Brown, not a good game for Spencer Brown. Yeah. And so some of these things, like, that was where I think that as the season goes on, you kind of get those scars and those calluses to understand what it takes. Because, again, for Deion Walker and for TJ Sanders, this was a lot of their first time.
Yeah.
I think they will get better, but that was the concerning level of not matching the physicality in your stadium for 3.5 quarters.
Physical and fast.
They are both of those things, the Ravens. That's why I say I think that's the best roster in the NFL.
They're so good.
And the defense has so many players. And then you're looking, if you're, like you said, if you're a Ravens fan, you're going, we lost this game? And that defense was really good. I mean, the Bills couldn't get anybody open.
Yeah.
By the way, I wanted to mention one other thing. You talked about Cole Bishop coming up and making plays. There was a play where Taron Johnson blitzed. And then, all of a sudden, Cole Bishop, if you watch the replay of it, this is on the TV broadcast.
He blitzed from 12 yards deep.
Oh, I think it was considerably more than 12 yards.
Next Gen Stats said it was the deepest blitz by a safety at the snap in 4 years.
Yeah. That has to be a mistake on somebody's part. It has to be a mistake that either it was Taron or Cole Bishop. There is no way you're taking a secondary blitz. It felt more like 15 yards off the line of scrimmage, and it was super late. And then there goes Flowers in the middle of the field and gets about 40 yards.
I do, like I said, we can be critical of the defense. Like, you need to give, I think Sean does it, and sometimes we roll our eyes at it, but, like, the Ravens' offense is incredible.
I know, but I'm rolling my eyes a little bit today.
Okay, I'm just saying.
I mean, they're
the
good.
Misdirection.
Two things can be true. No, I think the Ravens are one of the most talented rosters in the league. They have Lamar, they have Derrick Henry, Zay Flowers had a huge game. They have the pieces, but also the Bills did not execute. Mm-hmm. They did not play with great fundamentals, great tackling. They didn't have the physicality, and at times they looked lost.
I think the difference with Lamar and Derrick Henry was they didn't even compete against Derrick Henry in terms of tackling.
Yeah, it wasn't even contact.
With Lamar, like the play that Bosa attempted to make, I think they did you kind of look at it, he did everything right.
Yeah.
And he's just Lamar.
He's just special.
Sort of what Josh Allen does to people, but maybe even certainly is faster and incredibly elusive to make those plays. I guess I was more concerned with how they approached the run game. And there was, I think at one point early in the second quarter, they had 11 plays of over 10 yards.
Yeah.
The Ravens did. So they was just chunk after chunk, but limited competition in terms of that. So, yes, you are right. The Ravens are really good. And they scored 40 and lost, which is wild.
Yeah. So where is this team at now as we head into week 2? Jets also lost.
I have no idea. Like
Everyone
where
else,
their head is.
Yeah, where everyone else in the division lost. So
Of
the
course.
Bills 1-0, everyone else 0-1. But where? Yeah, you're right. Like this team just got put through a blender.
I think
Like that's what I'm saying. Like we're sitting here, we could talk for an hour about this game and relive all these moments. But once tomorrow settles, or maybe we get to Tuesday and you start to look back and go like, there are concerns. I have also concerns offensively because I thought it was a lot of the same stuff that they ran last year, and now their teams have seen it all.
Yeah.
I was upset that they got away from the physical downhill running. Like it felt like very soft, passive running, and that was part of the fact that they got dominated the line of scrimmage.
And guys were not getting open, and they were trying to run the ball.
Guys didn't get open last year,
That's
and
true.
Josh has had to be incredible. So like that's where my fear is, where it's like, okay, we've seen the orbit motion from Khalil Shakir and Ty Johnson. Like teams now have seen it now for 2 years. They got to come up with something special. And one last thing, punt or throw the play of the back shoulder fade to Keon Coleman to the moon. I never want to see it again. Josh doesn't do two things well. He is an incredible quarterback. He doesn't run the read option well. He's never done it well. And when on third down, when people were all upset early on in the second quarter, it was the third down play and he gave it to Cook. That's a read. Josh is not great at that. He's great with the QB power. Jalen Hurts, really good with the read, reading the end. Lamar Jackson holds the ball and then pulls it out late. That's not Josh. Josh is downhill quarterback powers. He doesn't do that well, and he doesn't throw a good back shoulder fade. He just doesn't.
Even when he missed the one on the 2-point conversion, you could see the replay showed Josh. He knew it was a bad throw.
Yeah.
It's just not his strength.
No.
It's also a low probability throw in general.
Yeah.
Like it's kind of
They were so. That was like the momentum, and I thought you had to throw your best punch, and they went with like their left-handed jab, and I was like, come on.
Yeah.
So a little bit ago, you said to me, "Where do you think this team is now? Where are they now?"
Yeah.
I would say it is a mature team.
That's a good point.
They have a lot of veterans and a lot of guys who aren't going to get feeling any other way by Tuesday other than we were getting our ass kicked in this game.
Yes.
So they're not going to be like, look at us. I think they know 17 saved them. They know they made a couple of plays. You can't do this all the time. Their defense will get better. I just think the parts that Dan is talking about, the physicality, and we mentioned the speed, is not there on this defense. I don't think that's who they are going to be. So they're going to need to play fundamentally better, be in their spots better, and sometimes it does take guys just putting their head down and making a play. And that's what my concern is with some of the guys on the team. I don't think that's how they're wired, and I think it's going to be a problem. And I don't know. Listen, Cole Bishop has had thrown out there last year against Baltimore and now starting his first game of this year, too, against Baltimore. Not the easiest assignments, but I'm sorry, that's one of the teams you got to beat, and that's one of the teams they may very well, you'd think, play in the playoffs. He's got to be better. He needs some help, and I don't know how quickly that's going to turn. But I think in terms of this team, 1 week in, turning the page and working on this stuff, I have no issue with that. They'll be getting chewed out in the meeting rooms for the way they play defense most of the night.
Yeah, and I think the Jets put up a respectable performance against
The Jets
the
had a
Steelers.
Ravens-like performance. They let the Steelers beat them. They found a way to lose.
Yeah, but I feel like they showed some grittiness that you're not going to be like, it's not like Miami where
You're
going to
be alert.
Yeah, you're not going to be like, oh, it's fine, we got this. It's going to be like, we pulled it together at the end against the Ravens, but we know that we can't just walk out and roll the ball out there and be set.
I also think about the Ravens. I'm like, you're a better roster. You outplayed the Bills certainly statistically, last year in the playoffs in this game. And you walk out of this place going, how did we lose? How did we lose?
Again, like I would be
It's a very
sick.
Bills, Chiefs
Yeah?
feeling
It's very
for them.
Chiefsian. It's very Chiefsian.
There used to be a saying, like in college football, before they got really good, it was like they would Clemson. Like that was like Clemson. They'd be a really good team, and then they'd lose like a Friday night at Georgia Tech. The Ravens are they ravened. Like that's what they've done. Like they find ways to lose games. They've shot themselves in the foot. And again, I think they got passive. When they were up 15 with 5 minutes to go or whatever, they were like, okay, sure, Keon can catch a couple passes. We'll play a soft shell defense. And then all of a sudden, it's still 17. It's still the MVP. I don't know if they forgot that, but Josh can pull rabbits out of his
hat.
I know it's a hat, but I was going to use a different expression.
I know. I just
You know
don't
what's
like that visual.
Funny, when teams play against Josh, it's like they all have this thing of like protecting against the deep ball. Bills don't throw a deep ball.
Nope.
They don't. Like, you are allowing him to just go boom, boom, boom down the field, which he did 3 times against this Ravens defense. So chalk it up, take the win. The people loved it, and go back to work because they need help.
1-0.
Yes, you are right. You're 1-0.
I'd like to say that
Never a doubt.
I'd like to say Mike and I were right. We were right. They
Honestly,
were,
if you're talking about the Ravens, it could be how is the rest of the play, Mrs. Lincoln?
Yeah, they
Yes,
got a lot
they
of
could
yards.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
we were doing a Ravens pod. That's what
Yeah,
that's
yes.
the expression I'd be using.
yeah.
But Mike and I were right with our pick.
You were right.
We're going to take a win.
Yeah,
we
we're all
won.
1-0.
No,
We're all 1-0.
No.
Yes.
no.
It was so bad for a while. I was like 4 different times I was starting to think about like our post-game story. I got all these. I even wrote
Yeah.
in a
That's
not
neat
your
form.
handwriting?
Yes, it is.
Wow, I
he was
thought that
really,
was.
he was really trying.
And this is all nonsense. It's
Did you see Beauvais' story? He had written a whole story about
written a whole story about how awful everything was.
delete.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? I wanna get this in. Greg Rousseau had some nice moments.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know
Yes.
he's your guy, so I wanted to give you a
Yeah,
little
he did.
pub.
He had big moments in the game. Big.
He had some. I said nice moments. I think nice moments is fair.
I think
Trying to
Rousseau-
find nice moments in this defense. We credited
No, you know what's
Bosa
funny?
and Ed Oliver.
I didn't think Matt Milano was great in this game.
I did not. Think
I didn't
he
think the
was-
linebackers played great.
No, I was.
Joe Bernard looked slow.
looks what?
Looked slow.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, I
I mean,
think-
it's against Lamar, so everybody looks slow.
Yeah.
But again, their offensive line was getting to the secondary, and it was just the second level, and it was.
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Well,
They're 1-0.
Doesn't matter. How was the play,
What-
Mrs. Lincoln?
What a final home opener. What at Highmark Stadium?
Still got some magic left.
Yep.
Instant classic.
they're playing that team again.
Oh.
Clip the tape right here. This
first
is
of
the
all,
win.
That's like the least controversial thing to say ever.
Well, there's no guarantee they're playing them. They've played them twice in the playoffs.
Okay.
You could say the
Clip
Chiefs.
the video.
They play the Chiefs every year in the playoffs.
Yeah, they'll
Yeah.
play the Chiefs.
No, they're not going to play the Chiefs this year.
That felt like. I kept thinking about the Bengals.
Wait a minute. Do I talk like that? Clip the video.
I kept thinking about the
Over
Bengals.
there, the touchdown.
I was like, what if the Bills defense is like the Bengals defense and Josh just has to go nuclear every single week?
Hey, we saw him do it in Detroit and L.A.
Yeah.
when the defense was bad. Not enough dudes on this defense. That's what I'm saying.
I think on this offense, I'm a little.
Josh just. Hey,
I'm a
LaShawn
little-
McCoy tweeted out during the game, I've seen Josh get the most out of underrated players. Time to give him some real players.
I could not agree with Shady more.
Even Shady probably's like, dude, when I was there, I was at the tail end of my Hall of Fame career. Give him some. He's got Cook. Cook made plays.
Yeah.
Tonight, Keon made plays. And I will say, Zon Kincaid made a couple plays.
He did. He made a
did.
couple
He
plays,
did.
which was good. And like I said, Josh Palmer did too, which was good to see. And they didn't dress Curtis Samuel in this one.
Yep.
So we'll see how that plays out.
Yeah. Okay. All right. For Mike Catalana and Dan Fates, I am Jenna Cottrell. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share. We want to
Hold on a
hear.
second.
We want to hear your thoughts on what a wild game this was, what you make of where the Bills are at now, and your overall thoughts as the Bills now head into MetLife Stadium to take on the Jets in Week 2. All right, that'll do it for us. Thank you so much for watching the Buffalo Plus channel. We'll catch you next time here.